that a philosophy of yours? You don't want to make staff changes during a season. You always want to wait. If you're going to make changes, you always wait till after a season.
I mean, I believe in that. I mean, again, that's one of the things I believe in. I know it's. I mean, listen, we've. I mean, it's funny because Manny actually brought it up to me the other day. We were just talking and beat Coach Diaz, and he goes, he said, you probably don't remember this, but I've never forgotten it. He said, he was the head coach at Miami, and he said, we were in one of our meetings where we waste so much time, but we were in one of those meetings, and it was like talking about this expansion of a playoff down the road. This is when there was 4, and we went to 6 Final Fours. That may never be done again, but we did it, and they were talking about the playoffs and all this stuff, and a lot of people were mad because some of the same teams were getting there, and whatever, and we got to open it up. And I just had the message of, I mean, listen, if we can get there with 4, I mean, we can get there with 12 or 20 or whatever. And we've been whatever format there's ever been, we've been there. We've had a seat, and so that Clemson has. When they voted you in the '80s, we did it, against all odds. When it was a BCS, we didn't get to the national championship, but we got to the BCS. When it was Final Four, we've done that many times. Went to 12, we've done that. First year, we've done it. We ain't gonna make it this year, but my message to the coaches were, well, I'm just gonna say this to you guys. If whatever y'all want to do, I mean, hey, but I'm just telling you, the more we expand this playoff, the more coaches are gonna get fired. And Manny reminded me of that the other day. He said, and I said, yeah. He goes, do you remember? I said, yeah, I remember that. And here we are. And because we've created this system that's not sustainable, and we've just lost our way. Oh God, here goes Swinney's getting on a soapbox again. It'll be y'all write a million articles and clickbaits and all this, but we've lost our way. I mean, it's not we've created an NFL model, but the NFL is 32 teams and 16 spots. So it's the NFL is designed to be 8-8 or 9-8. That's the design of the league, and half the league is getting in the playoffs. So all year long, you have a chance for the playoffs. Even if you have a losing record, you could win in your division and you go to the playoffs, right? And that's what's driven that. But we got 136 teams for 12 spots. And so now we've made it all about the playoffs, and so people are losing their jobs. And you got people, even like for us this year, all of a sudden you're out of the playoffs early, so now it's not about your season anymore. For forever and ever and ever, what made college football special was it's about your season. It's about the pageantry of your program. It was about the relationships. It was about getting to a postseason. It was about your rival games, and now it's just all about the playoffs. And that's fine. I mean, if that's what it's going to be, that's fine. But the system is set up like people are going to get fired. And like, how many coaches have won championships in college football? Everybody acts like it's just so easy to do. And like it's just anybody can do it. There's some of the best coaches that ever coached this game didn't win a championship, didn't win their league, didn't win a national championship, and now it's harder than it's ever been. But to when you got 136 teams for 12 spots, so it's not feasible. So maybe we need a 48 team. I mean, it's never going back. So I mean, maybe it's a 48 team league with 24 spots. And then maybe you have a different league, or you have relegate. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know. But I said that. Manny reminded me of that because I was like, well, a lot of coaches are going to get fired because now it's all of a sudden about the playoff, and it ain't going to work. And winning is hard. We're being reminded of that this year at Clemson, and hopefully when we do win again, the way I know we are going to win, we'll have a different perspective. Kind of like when I got out of coaching for 18 months, I had a different perspective when I went back to coaching. And when we get this program back where it needs to be, we'll probably have a little different perspective. Because sometimes you can win so much, you lose appreciation for how hard it is. It's freaking hard, especially to win national championships. We've won 3 in 130 years, but we've won 2 in the last 9. And can't nobody take that away from us. And who else has done that? Who else? But people are getting fired because they hadn't done it. So I guess that's a long answer to your question, but I don't like firing coaches in the season. I don't like, now, if you got a bad person, that's a different deal. Or you got some type of dynamic where, like, you know, we can't be in the room together, like, you know, something like that. But we got great people here, great people, good men. You know, there's no bad people here. And so hey, we go play the games. Let's go. We were all fired in 03, for sure. You know, because we got 9-0 Florida State rolling up in here, and we just lost 45-17 to Wake, and I think they just beat Notre Dame 35-0. There you go. There you go. Clemson Google. All right, so no way this bad 5-4 loss to Wake 45-17. No way they're going to go beat undefeated 9-0 rolling Florida State. But old Charlie Whitehurst and the boys had something different for them, and we won 27-10, right? So you play it. That's why you play the season. And again, you know, we were a mess, but we got to the Peach Bowl. That was one of the coolest moments I've ever been, running that freaking trap draw to Chad Jasmine on like 3rd and 15 to score. And that's what college football used to be about, postseason and development and relationships and the pageantry. But again, not that that's still not there, but coaches are getting fired at an alarming rate because it's all about the playoff, and you have 136 teams for 12 spots. So something's got to give somewhere along the way. Because if you fire your coach every year because they don't get to the playoff or they don't win a national championship, you're going to have a hard time having a program. And we're fortunate here because I've been here a long time, and we have a program, we have a culture. We don't have cracks in our foundation here. Like this house right here is built on rock. There's no cracks in the foundation. Now, we got some people that ain't put their best stuff in it. Like, you know, we gotta be better, and I got to make sure we get the right people in the house, you know, in all aspects of it. But this thing's built right. It's built to last. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't mean we're immune to a bad year. I mean, they were going to fire Coach Bryant in 1969, 1970. They were ready to run him out of town. 2 losing seasons in the SEC, and 6-5. I mean, every great coach can have a bad year. But yeah, the playoff has changed a lot, and just what's at stake. And that's why I was so frustrated with the refs, a little salty, because there's a lot at stake, and there's not consequences. In this profession, coaches get crucified, fined, players get crucified, held to this unrealistic accountability standard, but refs have zero accountability. Well, they do, but it's behind a curtain. They get to go home and drink a beer and you know, get on with their life and just leave the carnage left behind that affects a lot of people losing jobs. And that system needs to change too. That system needs to change. There should be, first of all, these refs should be, with what's at stake now and what's going on, like the NFL, they're not part-time refs. Like, they need to be full-time refs, and it needs to be a job. And there needs to be one leader and one voice, and that's what it should be, number one. And then there should be public accountability, period. Like, you can't criticize them, but they're on the field, they're in the arena, but they're the only ones in the arena that have no consequences publicly. Or God forbid you get to pay a fine because you criticize performance, but yet everybody else can be criticized. It's a bad system the way it's set up, and there needs to be some change. There needs to be the ability to review egregious calls in certain situations, because it means too much. People are losing jobs, whether it's assistants or head coaches or players, and how they get crucified on social media and things like that. Like, it's impactful. So, you know, as opposed to just getting a report on Monday, you turn in 10. You know, we had a game. I'm not criticizing. I ain't gonna tell you the game. I'm not gonna say the game, but we're only allowed to turn in. You know, there's a system of accountability, but y'all don't know anything about it. It's behind a curtain. How dare we have accountability? In the meantime, we got gambling issues going on, people being suspended, all that kind of stuff, right? Yep, I mean, refs are people too. It ain't just coaches and players, and if they're a part of the game, then by God, they ought to be a part of the game. And they ought to be a part of the accountability, and they ought to be a part of the consequences, not just behind some shadowy curtain. Like, no, they ought to have to answer for it. And listen, there's judgment calls and all that, and I mean, we just have to disagree to disagree. But there's also absolute flat-out misses with no consequences. And, you know, and you get a shoot, we're allowed to turn in 10 calls. All right, and so we had a game earlier this year that we lost. I had 14 I wanted to turn in, but I only turned in 10. All right? I thought 8 were wrong, but got back, yep, missed it. 5 of the 10 were wrong. And I mean, these are game-changing calls. Obvious pass interference, not called. That takes you off the field. But yeah, we just get this will be addressed with the crew and yada, yada, yada. Okay? Yeah, but you ain't there's no public accountability. Ain't none of that. So that's the system. The system needs to change. It needs to be changed. There needs to be challenge opportunity, and we need full-time officials. If you're going to have this type of stakes, it needs to be full-time officials. And everybody should have consequences. And the coaches and the players shouldn't be the only ones that publicly have accountability. That should change too with this system that we're in.
Take one more for Coach.
Ari Watford got ticketed over the weekend. Any comment on that?
No, just aware of it, and we'll deal with that.
The call on Saturday, should it have been half the distance to the goal, or was it 15 yards?
Which call?
The PI at the end of the game.
Which one? The one that we got called on us? The OPI? Well, how about the OPI on us? That one?
No.
Oh, not that one? Okay.
It's the defense.
I'm just rolling up my fine. I'm gonna send pennies. I'm gonna mail them in pennies. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I can't speak on it. I got no right to.
Fine. Is that you or the school?
I'm sure they'll just take it out of my check, but I think I'm just gonna get some pennies and just mail them in a box. That's what I'm gonna do.
Thank you, Coach.
23 years. All right. Y'all have a great day.